Hey guys, today I'm not here, but I will be leaving a video for you guys to understand what we're doing today. It's pretty easy, it's pretty basic. We're just going over something called the square root law. Now, the square root law can only be used when you see x squared only, or x squared and nothing else on the side. So if you look, all of these have just x squareds. No x, no y, nothing else, just x squared. So let's say I have x squared equals to 9. You think, okay, well, what number squared gives you a 9? Well, the way that you can do that, let's say you don't know that. The way that you can do that is you can do the opposite. You're solving for x. So remember, when you solve for x, you do the inverse operation. Well, the opposite operation or the inverse operation of squaring something is taking the square root. Now, when I take the square root, I'm finding the positive and negative square root of it. Because if I find what x is, these cancel out. If I find what x is, I'll get x equals to the positive square root of 9 and x equals to the negative square root of 9. So what does that mean? X equals to positive 3, because square root of 9 is 3, and x can also equal to negative 3. So how does that make sense? Well, we originally started with x squared equals to 9, and isn't positive 3 squared equal to 9? Is it negative 3 squared equal to 9? If I put a negative 3 and I square it, that's negative 3 times negative 3. That's also a positive 9. So all we're doing is solving for x, getting x by itself, and using some extra little tips and tricks and things that we've learned before to simplify and get good values of x. So what we're going to do here for number 1 is I'm going to go here and I'm going to find the value of r that makes this true. What I'm going to do is, since it's already by itself, there's nothing around it, I'm going to take the square root here, and I'm going to take the positive and negative square root of 96. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get these two cancel, and I'm going to get r squared, I'm going to get just r, because they cancel, equals to the positive square root of 96, and r also equals the negative square root of 96. So it equals to both. So because of what we've been learning lately, we got to make sure that we break this down and we write the correct answer. When I break down this 96, I will break it down. I can start off with 2 and 48. I'll break this down to 2 and 24, 2 and 12, 2 and 6, and then 2 and 3, right? And we've been doing this. We've been working with this, so we got the hang of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the pairs. I got 2, and I got 2. I got these 2. So I'm going to take both of them out, and I am left with positive 4 on the outside, square root, whatever left on the inside, 2 times 3, 6. So r equals to the positive 4 square root of 6. And since this is the same thing, the only thing is that it's negative, I know that this equals to this, so I can write that it also equals to and negative 4 square root of 6. Okay, both. So my answer is r equals to, my answer is r equals to positive 4 square root of 6 and negative 4 square root of 6. Both. It's got both of them. Okay? That's your answer. And that's it. Now, let's take a look at number 3. I'm going to do some odd ones, and then you guys will be in charge of the rest. Let's take a look at 3. X squared is already by itself. There's no other x's. There's nothing else. That means that I can use the square root law. So I'm going to take the square root of this, take the positive negative square root of this. These two will cancel out because they're inverse operations. And now I have, let me write it right here. X equals to positive square root of 29 but x also equals to negative square root of 20.
All right, try the next one. 72.
Okay. Can I break down 29? Let me think. No, there's nothing. There's nothing I can do. So since there's nothing else I can break it down with, my final answer is x equals to positive 29 and negative square root of 29. Keeping the square roots is really important. Okay? Easy. Easy stuff. Now, 34 is the same thing. I mean, number 5 is the same thing. So if you do the same, take the square root of the squared, find the positive negative version of the square root of whatever was on the other side. I got b equals positive square root of 34, but b also equals to negative square root of 34. Can I break any of this down? No. So this can stay. It's done. 1, 3, and 5, done. Now, let's go to number 7. 7, it looks kind of like whenever we used to solve for our variables, like x, y, whatever, right? It looks like that. Now, what we've been doing on 1, 3, and 5 is just taking the square root because the variable squared is by itself. So that's what we got to do every time. And you guys know how to do that because it's basic algebra. So I want him by himself, and it's adding to 1. So the only thing I got to do is subtract 1, subtract 1. Right? And now I'm left with a squared equals 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So that's like the new equation we're working with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write it on the side, or I can leave it like this, and I'm going to say, okay, what do I do now to get a by itself? Well, I do the opposite of squaring. Square root, take the positive negative version of the square root of 1, and I'm going to get a equals to positive square root of 1, a equals to negative square root of 1. Now we like this because the square root of 1 is just 1. So a equals to positive 1 and negative 1. Or you can write them in order, smallest to largest, negative 1 and positive 1. And that is your answer for number 7. Okay? Let's try 9. 9 is the same thing. I need this by itself. With basic algebra, I just got to move it. Right? Now I got m squared equals to negative 1. Okay? So let me go ahead and let's try this. Take the square root. Here's the thing though. In this case, we can't take the positive negative square root of this negative 1. So because of that, we're going to write that this one has no solution. You could work with i's, but technically there's nothing here that would make this a negative 1. Nothing that can make this a negative number. If I put in a positive number for m, I'll get a positive number. If I put in a negative number for m, I put in a negative number. So for this, you can't take the square root of negative 1. Since we're trying to find the solution, not simplify, we're trying to find the solution, you can't find the solution of a negative number. So this one has absolutely no solution. Now, let me go with 11. I want this guy by himself. It is not by itself. So I'm going to add the 6. Add the 6. I got 4x squared equals to 80. I still need him by himself. So I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4. I will now get x squared equals to 20. And this is where I get rid of the squared. So I square root it, plus and minus square root of 20. So I got x equals to positive square root of 20. X equals to negative square root of 20. And this is where we do our breaking down. Oops. Prime number 2 and 10, 2 and 5. Right? Bring these out. X equals to positive 2 square root of 5 and negative 2 square root of 5. It equals to both for number 11. See, we're still using our skills that we used before. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip this one because I think we can do it. You can do it. I'm going to go over this guy right here. Now, let's say you have a square root here. It's not with p by itself. So because all of this is by itself, this is okay. That's all right. So what we're going to do is you are going to take care of this guy first. So I'm going to go ahead and get the square root to get rid of this so that I can move in to find p, to get p by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, take the square root. I still got to take the positive, negative square root of 16. So now what I get is, this cancels out. I get p minus 4 equals to positive square root of 16. Well, the square root of 16 is 4, so it equals to positive 4. Square root of 16 is 4. I also get p minus 4 equals to negative 4. So I got both. So you see that? This used to be p minus 4 equals square root of 16, positive square root of 16. P minus 4 equals a negative square root of 16. We know square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 16 is 4. Keep the positive, keep the negative. Now I got to find p by itself for each one. Add 4. I will get p equals to 8. Same thing here, add 4. I also get p equals to 0. So you get both answers. P equals to 8, p equals to 0. You got to make sure that whatever was squared is by itself. So let's look at 17 real quick. I have this squared, but it's got plus 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract that 4. And I got 6x plus 2 equals to 24. And I got to square it. Then I get rid of that squared, plus or minus squared. And now I have 6x plus 2 equals to positive square root of 24. And then 6x plus 2 equals to negative square root of 24. But don't worry too much about 17 and 19. I'm just showing you how to set it up. So don't worry too much about these. I do want you to do the rest though. Okay? And when you do the rest, go ahead and turn it into your box. And that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.